has been handled. For more on this, we're now joined by Right to Know campaign's Mluleki Marongo. He joins me now live in our studios in Johannesburg. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Pleasure.
Let's just go back a little to why did the Right to Know campaign deem it important for the interview processes be public?
South Africa is founded on the values of openness and transparency. This is the founding values of our constitution. We have a Bill of Rights that binds all power and all actions in South Africa. And part of that Bill of Rights contains the right to the freedom of the press, the freedom to receive information and to impart information. And so we thought these values are important enough and fundamental enough that they need to be infused in these processes of trying to select the next NDPP.
And we've actually seen the presidency arguing that the interviewing panel needs to be able to engage in detailed, sensitive issues around the NPA itself. Do you not agree that some part of perhaps the interview process may need to have been a little bit, held in private?
Absolutely. But we have to understand that in South Africa, the default position is one of openness, right? And secrecy is an exception. Whoever invokes secrecy is supposed to give us a legitimate, constitutionally sound reasons why something has to be secret. And just because there may be parts of the interviews that need to be held in secret doesn't mean all of the interviews need to be held in secret. And this is what we argued in our submissions, that it's not every single person, it's not every single question that has to be answered or asked in secrecy.
And today, of course, is the last day for the interviews, as we said, and we've been watching them being grilled by the panelists. What are your impressions thus far?
We like the robustness of the questions being asked. We like the fact that we can see that these questions are robust, that the people are actually squirming some of them in terms of answering some questions. We can see some actually grabbing the questions with confidence. A lot of digging
was also done by the panelists, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And it gives us confidence as a public that this panel is legitimate, this panel actually is doing its job, and it gives us confidence as well on some of the individuals that we've seen.
Now, we've seen SANEF, of course, prior to your application in court, they had also written to the presidency demanding that the interviews be made public. But how do you think this will assist in terms of restoring confidence in the National Director of Public Prosecutions office?
I don't want to be too hopeful. I mean, this is just one single step, right, of opening these interviews. I think there's, and as Right to Know, we think there's multiple other steps that have to be taken now and going forward. So one of them is an active citizenry and active media that's going to constantly be vigilant in terms of what decisions that this next person makes, who do they go after, how do they conduct themselves, and will they actually turn around the NDPP? So we're saying, in as much as we are hopeful about this step, there's a whole lot more that needs to be done going forward. But is
this the step in the right direction in terms of restoring the credibility?
Absolutely. We think transparency is one of the foundational and most important aspects of holding anyone accountable.
Yeah, and we do know, of course, that the president has to meet that December 19th, the deadline that's been set. You've been watching the interviews. Do you have your preferred candidate as the Right to Know campaign?
No, we will not answer the question.
But from the caliber of candidates that you have seen,
you are hopeful we think the next NDPP is somewhere there in those 12 candidates, yes.
But you're not going to put your head on the block for now?
No, because then, we're not.
Yeah, all right. No, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Mluleki Marongo is from the Right to Know campaign. Of course, you may remember that they had taken this matter to court, demanding that these interviews be made public and media allowed. Hence, you are able to see them live. Now, we take you to the Union buildings where these interviews are